Hello, this is Gary Washawn. Looking back over my videos, I'm surprised I never did this before, comparing Islam versus Christianity. Alright. Islam. The radicals are much more true with their goals, their intention. You're supposed to submit to the will of God, and they have the book to prove what will you're supposed to submit to. You're supposed to stand against freedom, because freedom doesn't mean submitting to God, therefore you cannot be free. So says Allah. They have 4 verses that talks about being peaceful and coexisting with other religions. They have 105 verses that says kill them all. They're less prone to bullshit. And yes, of course, not all. I'm sure the Not All Brigade is crying into their keyboards. He's not saying not all. Of course, not all. Their leaders are fucking insane. But the people, I'm sure the people are fine. They're moderates. They're decent people. But as we learned from the Milgram experiment, decent people can do stupid, vile, evil shit. Because they're too meek, they're too mild, they're too decent to stand up for themselves or others. I'll leave a link to the Milgram experiment down below. Basically, when you don't stand up, when you don't question, you don't fight back against authority, you can be convinced into pushing a button until you think you killed someone. And that was just from some guy in a lab coat who had a nasty attitude. Imagine you think that authority is coming from God. The meek, the mild, the middle ground people, they're just cannon fodder. I don't care about them. I care about the leaders who are pushing them. That's why I'm in favor of drone programs. Look at my last video. And yes, there are some incredible people who are standing up, who are speaking out. Tariq Fatah. Incredible. He just flew the fucking Canadian government straight to hell with their perception of, oh, we're just going to be all nice and friendly and all the Arabs and all the Muslims are going to be great and we're going to assimilate. He ripped them a new one. It was beautiful. I'll put a link to that down below. As I know a lot of people are going to hem and haw and hiss about it being a video from Atheism is Unstoppable, but fucking fast forward past those parts if you don't like them. Just focus on what Fatah said. He is a flamethrower of truth. And don't get me started on atheists standing up in the Middle East, in the heart of Islam, and admitting they're atheists. Holy shit, the courage they have. Of course, not all are terrorists. I never said all was. The leaders are incredibly insane. The people are badly led. But not all are bad. What drives me crazy is these namby-pamby little bleeding heart liberals who just think if we just hugged and hugged and hugged and we just become friends and all our differences will be forgotten. Not everybody wants to be a Westerner. Get over it. Some people like their own culture to the point where they don't like yours. And you never, ever try to be friends with a complete and total sociopath, and that's what a lot of the leaders are. And fuck you if you think I'm wrong. You naive little bitches. Christianity. My problem with Christianity, they're subtle. They're no less dangerous in their own way to Islam. They're just so subtle, they draw you in. They got the big smile on their face and they talk about good deeds and morality, and then they rarely ever fucking demonstrate it. They talk about the charity. Well, they don't never mention that secular charities do as much, if not more. They talk about how they just want to love everyone. Everyone should be loved, with the exception of homosexuals and anyone who's not their brand of Christianity. I don't doubt for a second a lot of this war on terror is spearheaded by Christians who want the end times to be here. That's why I voted for Bernie Sanders. Checks and balances. Bernie Sanders would have been a huge difference, but he wouldn't have changed the government because it's 3 levels of government. One keeps the other in check all the time. He would have done some changes, but he wouldn't have revamped the entire government. He was going to be elected president, not king. I think Bernie Sanders' presidency, yes, he would have reluctantly been kicking and screaming against terrorism, but he would have gotten some concessions out of it in the meantime. And I think we need to spend a little more money in this country. Hillary Clinton will be fine against terrorism, but I think we've ignored this country so much. Hell, I have to get a Brita bottle for water because the water filtration system in this country is so crappy. We're so concerned about shit that's happening overseas, we're ignoring the fact that this country is imploding. It's falling apart because our attention is diverted. And Christianity, who's really, I think, I don't doubt for a second, a good chunk of them want the end times now because they want to see their Jesus. Oh, they want that Jesus. And he's going to kick all the asses of everyone they don't like because him and they think the same way, amazingly. Look at the presidential field. All Christian shit kickers in the Republican side. I'm so happy that, I got mixed feelings about Donald Trump. On one level, I know his religious fervor is bullshit. On the other, he's a petulant 13-year-old. Christianity, you keep hitting it, and you're hitting it, and you're hitting it, and it morphs, it changes, but its purpose is still the same at the end of the day. To assimilate. They're worse than a fucking Borg. So, I went long. If anyone stayed around this far, thank you. Till next time, goodbye.